be here with you today. Today we are going to work on the Live Well, Live Strong quilt. Last year we did this as a sew-along in the large size quilt, and today we're going to I'm going to show you how we are going to do it as a sew-along again in the large size quilt behind me, but we're also going to do it as a really small foundation paper piece quilt block if you are interested in looking at that too. So let me go ahead and let's get started. I need to be able to see comments real fast, so I'm going to go ahead and go right over here. And I'm gonna make sure I can see all of your comments. This is a live video, and with the live video, you can make comments and have questions. It will be streamed later though when it isn't live. So, but let me go ahead and get started on this. We are actually going to make the quilt block called the Genuine Quilt Block. So I want to make sure that we've got this attached and that I can see your comments. So let's go ahead and get started, and we're gonna go ahead and get going. So the Genuine Quilt Block is a small little quilt block, and it's just the Live Well, Live Strong quilt is it has 26 quilt blocks that are about health and wellness for women. And one of the very first quilt blocks, or one of the quilt blocks within it, is called Genuine. Just that we want to be genuine, authentic people out there in the world. And that by having that quality in life, it just helps you with life in general. So I think that being a genuine person is just a good quality to have out there so that we all can appreciate others and things like that. So this is the quilt block that we are going to be working on. I have now remastered this so that it is in a paper pieced form. So I'm going to show you how to paper piece a quilt. And oh, I can see everybody there, you guys. It's so good to see you. I have been taking care of my mother-in-law that is 97 years old, so I have missed a couple live videos, but I am so excited to be back with you guys again, and just trying to help them get used to having home health care and all of those types of things, and being there at their different appointments and that. It's hard to accept changes or in your life when you're 97 years old and 100 years old. So that's where I've been, and it is so good to see you guys. I'm so excited to see you guys. So, and it feels good to see them do well and to kind of get back to my routine of everything that I love to do. I wanted to give you one quick update. Look at my garden. Remember this year with the pandemic, I decided to try to learn how to plant a garden, and I haven't been successful with every plant. I didn't make it really large or anything like that. So what but I wanted to show you that I did grow some zucchinis, and they kind of got a little bit too large. For those of you that know things about gardening, I think when you let a zucchini get this large, they're better for baking, maybe zucchini bread, maybe stuff it with like ground beef and have stuffed zucchini. I don't know, give me some ideas of what you can do with a big one, and the other ones I need to let not grow so big, right? So anyways, I'm going to set this aside. Let me know what ideas you have for zucchini stuff, because there's been a lot of new people learning new skills, and the skill I wanted to learn was from gardening. So, and I did do that. Okay, so the quilt pattern that we're using is the Live Well, Live Strong quilt pattern. If you're interested in getting this quilt pattern, it's in the description below of the YouTube video, and you can just make a comment in the Facebook video, and it'll help you know where to pick up this pattern. This is going to be released, and for a limited time, it's going to be complimentary with your Live Well, Live Strong quilt pattern. So, but anyone that's purchased one before, I will be sending this pattern out to you as for free, the foundation paper piecing part of it, so that if you want to remake the quilt pattern again, you can remake it tiny. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And it will be free for a limited time with the original pattern. So let's go ahead and get started. My quilt right back here has 17 different colors in it. This is the quilt kit for it. There are different colorways, and we've also just added a succulent colorway, which is really a lot of fun. Zucchini cake or relish. Okay, good idea, you guys. Yeah, it gets tough. Amanda, that's what I heard, so I shouldn't let my zucchinis get too big. Okay, so One thing that I have done as I've sewn my Live Well, Live Strong quilt is I have kept a bin. Let me go ahead and show you what my bin looks like. I've kept a bin of some of the extra fabrics that I have that are the Live Well, Live Strong quilt, because if you have some of your extra scraps, you're going to be able to easily just make, if you want to stay with the original colorway, you can easily make this with the scraps that you have with this. It will be 20, I think it's 25 inches by 25 inches. So let's go ahead and get started. So these are some scraps. The Genuine block has this lipstick color fabric in there and has the yellow. This is a sunshine yellow. I purchased all of the fabrics for sale in the Stitches Quilting's online store are Riley Blake Confetti Cotton Solid. So that's what this is. And I just love these two colors, especially together. So let me go ahead and show you. So we're going to be working with this little pattern right here. I'm going to flip the camera to the overhead camera so you guys can see what I am working and how we're doing it. So let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, so this is my work surface. Here's an extra pair of glasses. I keep, whenever I'm paper piecing, I make sure I have an affordable pair of scissors, because I don't want to be using my Ginger scissors or my fabric scissors to be cutting paper. So on this, I'm going to cut out just the pattern piece for this Genuine quilt block, all right? So the main thing that we're going to do here, and these pieces are way too large. You can work, when you're foundation paper piecing, you can work with fabrics that are quite small, which is really kind of fun because you can use up your scrap fabrics. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to place this lipstick color in the center of this quilt block. So I'm going to just go ahead and trim this down. So you guys, I would probably use bigger scraps, but I'm going to trim this down so you guys can see just exactly how we're going to do that. But I also want you to see that you can really use your scrap fabrics for this and that it works great, okay? So when we're doing a foundation paper piecing, and remember, these are solid fabrics, so I don't have to worry about what is the right way or the wrong way of this. I am going to place this on the back side of this square because we're going to put everything on the back side of the fabric. So wrong sides together, and your right side of your fabric up, and the paper the right side down, or whichever way. So anyways, let me go ahead and I'm going to stick a pin in this. All right, just so we have a pin in there because it is just right laying there, okay? Now we're going to add the triangular pieces to the sides of this, and they are all yellow right there in the corners. So let's go ahead and get started on that. I know foundation paper piecing can be tricky. You know, it's just if you want to do a foundation paper piecing, it'll be a lot of fun. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut a square out of this. Yellow Sunshine is the name of this fabric, and that pink is called Pink Lipstick. So I love the colors that they have in their names of this. So now I'm going to take this piece right here. I'm going to cut it as an extra large triangle, and we are going to place this. So you can see it's going to go right here where this triangular area is, right there. And we need to sew even amidst this 1/4 inch seam right there, okay? So once again, we're going to put the right side of the pattern out, and then we're going to put the right side of the fabric up, okay? Opposite sides. So wrong sides of fabric together. But remember, I'm working with solids. I'm going to layer this so I can see as I look through this piece of paper with some light, and you can easily see that. I'm going to then lay that like that. I'm going to stitch on this side of the fabric, all right? So let me go ahead and bring this over to my sewing machine, and let's get ready to stitch. I am actually stitching with blue thread so that you can see my stitches here. I want you guys to be able to see this, so because sometimes it can be tricky to understand paper piecing. So let's go ahead and just stitch that along right here. And let's pull that up. Okay, so you can see with this blue thread that I went ahead and I had the paper facing up with the lines to know where to stitch, and I stitched my blue thread right on top of that black line. And I'm stitching off into the side where the 1/4 inch seam is, because we're going to need that. If I flip this over, okay, you can see that I've got this yellow piece right there. And when I open this up, this is what the quilt block is going to look like. So we're making all of these quilt blocks. This is normally an 8.5 inch quilt block. And the size of this is going to be, 3 inches and 1/4, okay? And let me go ahead and grab my pressing mat so that you guys can see what I'm going to do here. So now I have my little iron. You could use a big iron if you want to. It just gets easier as you're working. And also I like to just work at my tabletop. But really, you guys see me work with my large iron all the time. I am now going to press this over. I'm going to trim those seams though in just a second. But you can see as I'm pressing this over, it's so good to see everybody. I just so adore you guys. So I have this pressed and it's all looking good. And remember, this is extra fabric left over from the quilt. So we have these pieces done. I'm going to fold my paper back. All right, right like that. And we're going to trim this 1/4 inch seam. Let's go ahead and toss that away. Oh dear, I don't think I have a rotary cutter. You guys, since I've been taking care of Betty, oh my gosh, I don't have a rotary cutter. I take all of my supplies in different places, and it's actually sitting in a bag. I could step out of the camera view. I'm sorry. But boy, I've been keeping, okay, so I'm trimming that to a 1/4 inch seam. I folded this back, and then, you know what, I'm going to need my rotary cutter. Hold on for 1 second, you guys. Go ahead and check that out. That is so funny. Okay, let's see here. Rotary blade. Oh my gosh. Oh, there it is. I've got multiple sewing areas, but I keep hijacking tools from each of the sewing areas. So here I've got this back. Let me put this out of the camera view. That was one of my little portable things. So I'm going to fold this back. So once again, you can see that you would just normally just trim that at a 1/4 inch seam. Okay, let's go on to the next piece of fabric. We're going to go ahead and do this one right over here. Okay, I'm going to once again, I have this pressed back. I'm going to lay this triangle, and I'm using extra large pieces so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. I'm going to lay this right sides together, these two, but I'm using solids, on the back side of the pattern piece. I'm now going to take the pattern piece and I'm going to stitch along that 1/4 inch seam all the way across. So let me take it over to my sewing machine. Yeah, I keep thinking I can do lives up at Betty and Brant's home, but I'm not able to always do it. So once again, there's my blue thread. I've stitched on this top line and I've stitched on this back line. We are going to take this and we're going to clean off this 1/4 inch seam right here. So let me just fold that back. I'm going to line up my, my ruler so it's going at that 1/4 inch size right there. I'll toss that back. And let's go ahead and press this. So let's grab this, the pressing mat, and then we will just put that right there. And we're pressing that back. All right, let's do our next section of the 2 more yellow pieces. Then we will square up this quilt block and it will all look just absolutely perfect. That's one nice thing about working with foundation paper piecing is that you really have, you know, something that is just super, super accurate. Let me go ahead and trim off some of this piece right here. Your piecing is just so accurate. That's why you might see like a dog's face as paper piecing or a dragon. So since these are scrap fabrics, I'll just go ahead and press these. So it just looks a little bit, I don't know, they're still good fabrics, right? Okay, I'm going to trim this so we have room for another triangle. So let's go ahead and just bring this over here. And we just do approximate sizes. And let's trim this right here. All right, take that apart. So once again, I'm going to stitch along this line right here. So I'm going to, through the light, which I've got a lot of lights in here, I'm going to hold that up and I can see through the shining of the light that that is right where I want to be. All right, so let's go ahead and stitch this closed. And we're once again using that blue thread. Okay. Trim that off. There we go. We're going to fold this back just a little bit so that we can go ahead and trim our excess fabrics. Let's go ahead and pull that off. And we're going to trim this excess off right here. So you can see, then we'll have some nice 1/4 inch seams. Let's go ahead and press this. We've got our blue threads kind of hanging out everywhere. But when we square this up, everything will be perfectly squared. Okay, let's go ahead and do this next piece, which I had a triangle. There we go, right here. So once again, back side, I'm going to lay that on there. I'm going to shine it through the light and make sure that this shines right through. And I'm going to stitch on top of there so you can see what that looks like. And we're going to go ahead and do that one more time. We're going to square this up and it's going to just look absolutely beautiful. Okay, bring that back up. And once again, we're going to just pull that back so we can trim off that excess fabric right there, which now we're finished. Well, let's go ahead and pull back that paper, which is just fine. Go ahead and hold that back. Has a little bit of stitching there, but that's okay. We're going to take that at that 1/4 inch seam from the blue thread, trim that excess off, and let's go ahead and pull this over. I'm sorry, I can't see everybody's comments as well. I accidentally closed a screen on my computer. Okay, so now let's take this down and we're going to square it up. So this is the genuine quilt block that is in there. We're going to take this ruler and I'm going to take it along that 1/4 inch seam right there, and then just go ahead and take off the excess fabric. And it's going to look like a 3 1/4 inch genuine quilt block, because being genuine is a healthy thing in life. We want to just be genuine people with other people, and it really improves our relationships and things that are going on. So you can see what that quilt block looks like. It's just so easy to get that just perfectly accurate. I've got the paper on the back side. Let's press this one more time so that you guys can see this, and we will remove the paper off the back. So let's go ahead and just give this one good press. I'm going to press along this side, and here is our genuine quilt block. So you can see it's really not that difficult. We would go ahead and pull off our paper piecing, the paper that we used to create this quilt block. So you didn't have to measure anything. You didn't have to think about too much other than which side you're actually making this on. Okay, hold on for 1 minute. Let me pull that off. You also use a slightly smaller seam allowance. I'm going to come in here and get off some of the extra thread, the extra paper in just a moment. But you can see that looks great, and that was so simple to make, wasn't it? And it goes so quickly because you just don't have to think about the measurements or everything else. Let's go ahead and go back to the front view camera. And there we go. So I just think that is so darling. I do have an original size, but it's the 8 1/2 inch size. And we've now taken this 8 1/2 inch size block now down to 3 1/4 inch. So this, we're going to make the Live Well, Live Strong quilt that is behind me, but we're going to make it so it's just like a small wall hanging, which is going to be a lot of fun. There are 26 quilt blocks. There's Lynette. I see you guys. There are 26 quilt blocks in this. Each one has represents something about health and wellness for women, so that we can all just kind of stay balanced. And it's nothing where it's any kind of new age type thing or anything like that. They're just quilt blocks about shine, grow, fuel, being mindful, having a positive sense of self. Tons of different, having self-care in your life, just some really basic concepts of having health and wellness in our lives as a woman here, and especially during a pandemic. So this is a quilt block that is called Genuine. Anyways, so that is everything that I can to introduce you to the foundation paper piecing of it. The quilt pattern for the Live Well, Live Strong quilt pattern does cost money. This is something that does cost, but you can go purchase it at the Stitches Quilting store. You can see that description through Facebook or through YouTube. And for a limited time, the foundation paper piecing pattern part of it will be complimentary to you. So go ahead and try to pop over and make that purchase if you haven't purchased your quilt pattern yet. We will be doing as a sew along once again, that will be starting in the next couple weeks, and we'll do it as a sew along with the 26 quilt blocks, where we'll focus on each aspect of health and wellness as we make the block. So, and we'll be making it large size and then also the foundation paper piecing size. So anyways, I can't wait. It's so wonderful to be here with you. Let me see if there is anything else that you guys have questions about or anything like that. But I love you guys so much. I can't wait for us to go on this journey again in 2020 and just kind of see what and learn and grow with each other. So it's so fun to see you guys. Yes, Robin, you already have the original pattern. Since you've purchased it, I will send you the foundation paper piecing one through email for you to download, and it's just there complimentary for you. So love you guys tons, and it is so good to see you. How do we get the pattern for the paper piecing? Yes, I will email it to you, Robin, because you've already purchased a pattern. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait. It's so fun to make tiny little things, and then to have this as a different kind of quilt that we can either frame, we can hang it on the wall, or whatever we want to do. So anyways, I love you guys tons. I will be back on Monday, and I'm planning on noon. Monday at noon, and then Wednesday and Friday next week. So I just have to help my in-laws with some of their health and their care right now. So anyways, I will see you guys really, really soon. And I will talk to you guys on Monday, but message me if you guys have any questions. I can't wait to see you guys and to be chatting and hanging out together. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.